Hey, what is going on? It is 12:30 on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Christopher. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern Time. And what we're talking about today is the top 10 tips for new real estate agents. So I'm really excited to bring today's show to you. We've got a lot of information that's going to be very beneficial if you're new to real estate, if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, or even if you've been doing real estate for a while, maybe just getting back down to some of these basic principles that really got you started. So today's episode all about jump-starting your real estate career. So my name is John Christopher. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and you're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Christopher, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate every single Wednesday, 12:30. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, hit that little bell icon so whenever it is that we have new content to help you grow your real estate business, you get a notification because we put this information out on the regular every Wednesday. And also on Fridays, we have State of Real Estate. That's definitely another great show that we do, all about masterminding to grow your real estate business. So let's go and get started with today's topic, which is on tips for new real estate agents. Now, we tried to make a top 10 list of information that I really deem essential when you're starting out. A lot of the things that when I got started in real estate, I wasn't quite on top of all of this as much. So let's get right into it. One of the most important things, we're going to count down from 10. And we're going to start off right off the bat with number 10 on the list. And it's going to be very obvious because we are a real estate school, but that number 10 is training. So why is training important? Well, it's a pretty obvious question or answer. Because when you get your real estate license, yes, you will learn a lot of info. But for those of you that already have your real estate license, you might still be unsure of what do you really do to make the most of it. And that's what training is there to do. So you could realize as many opportunities as you possibly can. So you could get better at performing your duties of a real estate professional. So this is going to be essential. You want to do this on a regular daily basis. And when I say daily, I mean every single day. You want to make it a habit. Just like you might work out on a regular basis, you've got to work out this muscle up here. And this muscle could provide a lot bigger gains than any gym it is that you'll be able to grow your regular muscles with. So training, that one's pretty obvious. I don't want to spend all day just talking about training, because I'm sure you know that you need training. But this next piece of the puzzle goes hand in hand. So number 9 on the list is going to be coaching and mentoring. So the reason why coaching and mentorship is so important is because when you first get your real estate license, you're going to do a lot of different trainings. You might go do training on so for example, joining the Association of Realtors. This is something everybody does when they join a broker that's a member of the Association of Realtors. There's all kinds of trainings, from the MLS to compliance to all kinds of basic things that you've got to cover. But then the question is, how do you actually use this in the real world with an actual client? So this is where coaching and mentorship comes in, to where whether it's some basic info you're learning from the Association of Realtors, or maybe some courses or classes that your brokerage has, or even your post-licensing course. Your post-licensing course is a huge thing that you want to do as soon as you get your real estate license, and it's got a lot of really great information. But now the question is, how do you make that information actually relevant and useful and capitalize upon it? And that's what the coaching and mentorship is for application of what you've learned. We'll say application of ideas. That's what they're there to help you with, to help point you in the right direction. When I got started in real estate, I didn't have a mentor or a coach. As a matter of fact, when one of the turning points for me when I started realizing what I needed to do with real estate was I had joined some sort of like coaching, training, mentorship, 90-day boot camp type of thing. And it taught me a lot of the things it is that I needed to know to be able to build a successful real estate career, to be able to actually even just do real estate, to do it and make money, to make a business out of it. I didn't do post-licensing right away. I wish I did, because I would have learned a lot of these principles in that. But a big part of it as well was the more application aspect, which is what, again, the coaching and mentorship is all designed to help you do, to keep you pointing in the right direction, to guide. Because look, real estate is not that difficult, but there's a lot of things that you need to know. There's a lot of things to be figured out, and you could figure out those things on your own, or you could rely upon good training that you do on a regular daily basis so you don't forget. Because sometimes you will have to relearn some of the information. But if you train on a daily basis, that makes that less of an issue. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you strong. The coaching and mentorship, that's there to apply this information. And this is one of the most essential things when you're brand new to real estate, when you don't know at all what you're doing, because you're going to be learning so much information, and it's now, how do I use all this information that I'm learning? And that's what the coaching and mentorship is there to help you do. But it's not even just something for new agents. It's something that even for experienced agents, when they want to be able to take their business to the next level, they can sometimes figure it out to a certain degree on their own, but then a lot of times they need some help figuring it out. They need some help understanding maybe what's not working as efficiently as it could be in their business, maybe getting that fresh outside perspective. And when you're brand new to something, when you're trying to attain some higher level where you're trying to go from here to here, if you've already got people that are up here, they could help you get to that point. And they might even help you surpass them. I mean, that's one of the cliche things that you see and hear about with those little like karate movies and whatnot of the student becomes the master or whatever cheesy thing it is that they say in those types of movies. But yeah, so coaching and mentorship, definitely important. And what that's also going to help you do, which is going to be number 8 on the list, is thinking long term. And the reason why thinking long term is on this top 10 tip list for new agents is because there's so many things that are going to be immediately important that you've got to do right away, time sensitive, whether that's something as simple as, again, joining the Association of Realtors or whatever their required trainings are that they might have, or doing some sort of compliance training with your brokerage to learn maybe systems or anything like that. It's so easy to get caught up in the moment. But you want to make sure that you remain focused on the long term. And what I mean by this, by long term, this is even just something as close as 1 year. And what I would do is I would ask the question of, where do I want to be? This down. Where do I want to be in 1 year? As well as 5 years. And then what this allows you to do is think that bigger term, long-term, big picture. Which again, this could get lost. It does get lost. And so you want to make sure it doesn't get lost. So that's why, again, you want to think that big picture, think long term. And this is going to be things such as having a business plan. Because if you have a real estate business plan, that's usually at least thinking out at least a year. But then where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want to have a real estate team? Do you want to have your own brokerage even? Do you want to be a real estate investor? Do you want to still just be a real estate agent but have a really good work-life balance? Or do you want to just be a real estate agent but be making a ton of money? Or what are those 5-year goals? The big goals, and this is where you're going to be a little bit more unrealistic. A little bit more realistic in your 1 year because it's, again, less time, but you got to have some unrealistic, some big picture, long-term thing, something that's going to get you excited and keep you focused and keep you motivated. And that's going to be really important, especially in the beginning as well, with a lot of these little tedious things that can so easily get you down and not have you be in really the right situation. One of the things I want to jump back over to here on the training aspect of this, and I'm going to put this in red, is do post-licensing. Do post-licensing. Do your post-licensing as soon as you're licensed. Now, the reason why I recommend that you get this post-licensing course done as soon as you've got your real estate license is because this course will teach a lot of this stuff that we're talking about today, a lot of these new agent success tips. And so that's something that's really important for building a foundation. And this is something that's a requirement. So this is actually required by your first renewal deadline. However, one of the things we're going to be talking about in here, I don't want to give it away just yet, but it's all about, we'll call it the snowball effect. There's a better word I like to use that is you're probably much more familiar with, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, so stick with us. My name is John Christopher. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Have you completed your post-licensing education yet? Look, I know you're probably thinking, hey, it's not my renewal deadline. I don't need to do post-licensing yet. But look, here's why you want to do post-licensing as soon as you've got your real estate license, as soon as you're able to take post-licensing. It's not just another course about arbitrary laws that you're never going to use again. It's about real-world, usable topics that'll help you grow your real estate business, to help you take it to the next level. Look, let me ask you this one question. If this course helps you close just one deal, if you get one extra deal from post-licensing, is it worth the investment? I'd say it is. We get paid pretty well, so one deal means a lot of money. Check out postflorida.com. That's postflorida.com for the full details about post-licensing. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor, where we're covering the top 10 tips for new agents and just recapping what we've talked about so far, counting down from 10. We've got number 10, which is training. Training is one of the most essential things as a new agent because there's so many things that you don't yet know. Now, one of the other important things right at the top of the list that goes hand in hand with training is coaching and mentorship. So coaching and mentorship is super important because what it does is it helps you apply what you're learning in the training. Now, another thing that's going to be hopefully part of your training and coaching and mentorship, and again, that bigger picture, is the long term. If you just focus on how do I get my first sale, how do I get my first deal, then you're not really ever thinking about how do I build this into a business. You're really just thinking, okay, how do I get something? How do I do this or how do I do that? How do I make a little side money, which is okay to start out with, but if you want to make this something sustainable, something regular, something that you could quit your job for, that's where you definitely want to think long term and think big picture because that's where the big paydays are if that's what you're looking for in real estate. So, number 7 on the list. Let's see, which one do we want to pick here for number 7? See, we covered training, we covered coaching and mentorship. We talked about thinking long term. Let's cover this one. Number 7. Building a pipeline. So what is a pipeline? A pipeline is basically going to be, it's like a funnel. Let's draw one of these out here. And this is going to be everything from your, let's say your contacts, just everyone you know, your acquaintances. I'm just going to say contacts because acquaintances is way too hard of a word to fit into this thing up here. So your contacts, people that you know, that they know you, you know them, something, some level of contact. You got maybe a phone number, an email, maybe you follow each other on social. Somehow you have some way of getting in touch with them. Those are your contacts. Then you have your leads. Now, what's the difference between a contact and a lead? A lead has an identifiable need. Leads have needs. Leads have needs. If whoever it is that you're talking to doesn't have any need to buy real estate, to sell real estate, and they have no desire they probably do have some need for this at some point, but it might not be an immediate need. It might be a 5-year down the road need. So they're not yet a lead until we start to kind of notice that need. We still stay in touch with them, but we just have to realize what stage of the pipeline that they're in. And this is going to help us build a predictable business when we manage these different stages of our pipeline effectively. So contacts, leads, then you have your clients. And your clients are going to be the people that you're actively working with. And then you have your past clients. And those past clients get cycled right around. Don't like how that came up with that other line there. These get cycled right around back to the beginning. So really, we should be looking at this almost like a flow chart rather than a funnel and a pipeline. But I like this visualization of this funnel here where it gets smaller, because the reality is the way this is going to look is this section here, especially when you're first getting started. Well, when you're first getting started, you've probably got, let's put this in, we'll do this in, I don't know, green. Maybe green will stand out here. Maybe you're starting out and you've got 0 past clients. Oh, you probably can't see that green at all. That doesn't look good. Let's try darker green. 0 past clients. You maybe have 0 current clients. You maybe have 2 or 3 leads, and you maybe have, let's say, 200 people that you have contact info for. Now, this is really skewed. What you've got to work on now is trying to move people from being just a contact into being a lead. And then you're working on getting your leads to become clients. And then you're working on your clients to become past clients. Clients are the ones you're actively working with, that you're actively doing real estate with. Your leads are the ones that, you know, they're basically ready or they're getting ready. You better jump on them. And then you have your contacts that are everyone that you know that might want to stay informed and updated about real estate. Everybody does. It's one of the most important things in terms of their financial future. It's one of the most important things in terms of what they need as a human being, of needing food, water, and shelter. So it's something people want to stay current and up to date on. And that's what you're going to do with your sphere of influence, which is, again, basically all of your contacts. But then you'll have some people bubble up as leads. When they realize what it is that you could do for them and they see that you do it so well, they'll be interested in, okay, how do I take the next step with this individual? So building a pipeline, super important. And we'll put that right along here with number 6 on the list, which number 6 is lead generation. And you want to be thinking about lead generation from very early stages, because lead generation is what fuels your business going forward. And there's a few different ways you could go about getting leads. There's some that might be provided by your broker. Now, even if these leads are provided by your real estate broker, this is usually, unless you're in a very high split brokerage, so maybe this is going to be more so when you're in a team slash a high involvement brokerage. So when I mention team or a high involvement brokerage, what do I mean by that? Well, this means we're talking about somebody who generates tons of leads. These are the brokerages or the teams really where you see tons of advertising that they do, lots of things like that. But then the downfall to these are high splits, high commission splits, meaning a larger percentage of your commission goes to the brokerage. I mean, anytime it is that you're having to pay somebody else, when you don't know how to fish on your own, you know, what's the cheapest way to go get fish if you know how to fish? And if you can fish, if that type of let's assume the fish you want is out there, and you know how to cast the line out there and get it, that's probably going to be a lot cheaper than what you might pay at the market to buy this fresh fish. All right, well, let's leave that metaphor alone there. So when you know how to generate your own leads, the cost is going to be lower. It's still usually going to involve some cost, either a cost of money or a cost of your time. In terms of you meeting people or ad spend, maybe you're making videos and you're promoting those videos online, whatever the case may be. You need to be thinking about lead generation. And that's why, again, we're talking about thinking long term, because at first you might be just thinking, all right, well, maybe I've got my friend so-and-so who needs to sell their house. And okay, I could do that. And maybe you do a great job selling that house, servicing the client. Now that validates and proves that you're a great real estate professional. But now, does that mean that you're going to be uber successful and have tons of business just constantly flowing to you? No. Just because you provided one client a great experience doesn't necessarily fuel tons of future business unless you intentionally focus around that. And there's a lot of you should always be thinking about lead generations, because there's tons of opportunities to generate leads every single day. This is anything from online methods. And that could be doing things like maybe you're making videos about real estate or about neighborhoods or about things people are interested in and they know you're in real estate. Just getting yourself out there online and bringing in contact info. So it's not just about making a video. You got to have some sort of website or landing page, something like that, that's going to be able to capture this information. You could also do door knocking. I know a lot of people cringe at the idea of door knocking, but I've met some of my best contacts through knocking on doors. And it's not just the initial door knocking, it's about the follow-up. It's about staying in touch with whoever it is that you're talking to after you just met with them. Phone calls. And there's actually a couple of these that tie right into this that I want to bring in. So let's make number 5 here. Let's make number 5 this, since we just talked about phone calls. Here's tip number 5 for really agents at almost any level. So being on the phone. But not just being on the phone for the sake of being on the phone. Being on the phone with a purpose. Now, what do I mean being on the phone with a purpose? Well, I mean that you're having an intentional conversation with conversations that you're having with clients, that you're having with potential clients, that you're having with friends and family, but with the idea of maybe soliciting referrals. And we'll talk about doing that, because that's actually another thing we've got on this list here. But yeah, being on the phone with a purpose, and this could be a call, but that's not the only thing that your phone does. It is 2021, and phones do so much more than just phone calls. Now, the phone call is still probably one of the highest value activities that you could do on your phone, is actually talking on the phone to somebody. However, there's every day this one grows is the SMS, the messaging, text messaging. So that's huge. But then also social. And again, with a purpose. So you're not just going on these different platforms, these different systems to, again, hang out or socialize. That's part of it in real estate, because a big part of real estate is knowing people. And if you do like to socialize, you can capitalize that into potential business just by the sake of more people knowing you and being able to get more referrals. However, if you are just using these without any sort of purpose, without any reasoning, without any knowing why you're going to be calling people, that's not the reason to be on the phone. But if you get on the phone with a purpose, that could be the phone ringing and you picking it up. I know a lot of you might be hesitant to pick up the phone because maybe there's telemarketers or whatever calling you. Get used to it. I don't care if you're on the do not call list, they don't care. You're gonna get phone calls. Your phone number gets plastered everywhere. There's all kinds of schemes. Answer the phone every time it is that you possibly can. And if it is a telemarketer, there's this great thing on phones where, now it's not as satisfying as the old school phones, but there's a little red button on here. Now you can't slam this thing down. You could, but you're probably just gonna break your phone. It doesn't do anything if you slam it down. But all you gotta do is press that little red button and the call goes away. Now they might call you again if they're really persistent, and maybe they do have something that's worth listening to. Or maybe this is just a waste of your time and you need to value your time. So being on the phone is definitely one of the activities that's going to help you get business, especially as a new agent. What are we down to? Number 4. And so number 4 is going to be generating referrals. I'm going to say this one because it ties right into that last one. Now, when I say generating referrals, what do I mean? Now, this is how you could capitalize on business from your friends, family, your sphere of influence, people it is that you know, because they might not immediately have a real estate need themselves, but they might know somebody. And if they might know somebody who needs your business, you need to be confident asking. And this is something as simple as, who do you know? That's what you're saying to your prospective referrers, I guess, yeah, they did the referrers because they're giving the referral. That one's not going to be on your exam, so don't worry about the or and e on that. But talking to your friends and family, hey, I know you're probably not in the market right now to buy a house or anything like that, unless you are, or you're probably not, right? Yeah, of course not. Someday, though, I'm going to help you out. But look, who do you know that might need my services? Who do you know that would benefit from my level of skill, care, attention to detail? Who do you know that would benefit from the services my brokerage can provide? And you could say that as a real estate sales associate. When you register your license with a brokerage, that is your brokerage. Now, you're not the broker as a sales associate, so you're not in charge. The broker is the one that's in charge. However, it is still your brokerage. It's where you choose to register your license, hang your license. It's where you perform your services too. So take ownership of it. Who do you know that could benefit from the services of my brokerage? Who do you know that could benefit from my services? The only thing you maybe want to tie in your brokerage is if they're skeptical on maybe your experience level. But they shouldn't be, because real estate's actually pretty easy. And if you're following rule number 9, we jump back through these rules. Let's count down these again. Recap what we've covered so far. You're training on a regular, daily basis. You're doing your post-licensing course as soon as you get your real estate license, so that way you're taking away all that really good information that's going to help you grow your real estate business. And you're training after the fact every single day, every way it is that you possibly can. You're using coaching and mentorship to help you apply what it is that you're learning and training, so you don't just get caught up in ideas, but you're actually executing on those ideas. You're thinking long term, so you're ultimately trying to build a business here. Don't think of this like a job. Don't just think of this like a side hustle, even if that's how it starts out. Even if that's what you want to keep it as a side hustle, you want to think big picture, long term, 1 year, 5 years, because if you don't have that idea figured out of where you want to be 5 years from now, a year from now, it's going to be difficult to stay motivated. So thinking long term is definitely going to be important. building a pipeline. You got a bunch of people that you know. How do you find out which ones are leads? Well, you got to talk to them. You got to communicate with them. You've got to figure out who has an identifiable business need. And those leads are the ones that could potentially become clients, but you have to convert them into clients. You have to, make them employed by your brokerage, either using a listing agreement for sellers or buyer brokerage agreement for buyers. And then after you perform the duties for your client, they're helping them buy or sell, they become a past client and they repeat this whole cycle. You want to keep them in your sphere of influence, keep them in your orbit, keep them in your universe of information and content to help you, again, build your business, to generate more referrals. There's so much that this ultimately does to set up your future for success in building a pipeline. Now, lead generation is another super important thing that you need to be doing on a regular basis, daily. Let's put that up here, daily. Because if you're not generating new business on a daily basis, you run the risk of maybe potentially falling behind. And look, this is easy to do. There's so many methods that you could use to generate. We didn't talk about using social. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't put it up here. But social media is a great way to generate leads. Maybe we just lumped that in on the internet. Open houses are another thing you could be doing. That's something really popular for new agents. The trick right now is a lot of houses are barely on the market long enough to do an open house, just with how fast things are flying off the shelves. But ultimately learning to generate leads on your own, because if you have to rely on leads generated by others, it's either going to be a high split or some sort of other high cost. Maybe you could just pay Zillow for leads, but that's going to be more expensive compared to if you're directly advertising on Google. A lot of people don't realize Zillow pays Google to get the people on Zillow. Zillow doesn't get enough people just coming to Zillow on their own just through organic ranking, so they actually advertise. There's nothing wrong in that. Many companies advertise. I advertise lots for multiple companies. I love advertising. It's fantastic. It's great. But the idea is that Zillow is paying this low cost to Google to get people onto Zillow, and then Zillow ultimately gets their contact info and then sells that lead back to you at a higher premium, a much higher cost than what they paid to get that person on the website initially. Now, this works for a lot of agents. There's a huge return on investment if you actually work these leads, even though they do have a high cost. However, if you're able to generate leads on your own, look, there's tons of real estate agent IDX website services and platforms out there, if your broker already doesn't give you a good one, that you could use to basically do the exact thing, to have your own Zillow, to have your own Realtor.com, to have your own version of these websites, and then you're paying the lower cost to get that traffic onto your website. And I know this is like a really high level type of thing out there, but there's so many turnkey done for you type of solutions that basically handle even advertising for you. A lot of services that charge between like 15 and 20% of whatever the ad spend is to basically do this all for you and manage it for you. So there's tons of services out there. However, if this is something that you're good at, it might be worth it to, take advantage of some of these things you could do to lower this ad cost. It might be great, the leads that you're getting off of Zillow, but you might be able to get better quality leads through your own website because they're going to be a lot more sold on your specific brand rather than just the Zillow brand and all the other random agents who are going to be on that website. So lead generation is something you want to constantly be thinking about. How do I creatively get more people? And one of the best sources for this, yes, being on the phone, that's important any way it is that you can. But one of the best sources for leads is through referrals. And this is a great way to work your current sphere of influence of people it is that you already know. So many people want to jump into just brand new leads. And that's why referrals is higher up on the list than we have lead generation. Yes, you want to be focused on generating new business every single day, but one of the best ways to do that is through the people it is that you already know. And that might be through getting on the phone with them. You're on the phone with people, getting back in touch with old friends, family members, so that way you can generate referrals. Hey, who do you know? I'm trying to get my real estate business, taking it to the next level, or maybe I'm trying to find buyers, I'm trying to find sellers. I've got properties that I need buyers for. I've got buyers that I need properties for, whichever one it is. Who do you know that could help me out? Who do you know that I would be able to provide exceptional services to? And these people that you already have a relationship with, Or maybe even like these people, the one that they're going to be referring you to. Let's say you have a friend or family member that refers you, one of their friends. That personal referral is very, very valuable because that personal referral goes a long ways. And there's ultimately a balance of two things you need to have: trustworthiness and professionalism. Trustworthiness and professionalism. Those are really the two most important things people are looking for in a real estate professional. Trustworthiness and professionalism. You already have that trustworthiness with people it is that you already know. If you could prove the professionalism to them, what else do they need? You've got more time to dedicate than somebody who's tied up with a bunch of other clients already. And you maybe have a great team behind you with your real estate brokerage. And on top of your real estate brokerage, there's the title companies, the mortgage lenders, and everybody that's involved in this home buying process. So you're not alone. Even if you are brand new, there's tons of people that have been doing all aspects of this business for a while that you'll be working with that'll make sure this all goes smoothly. Now, there's a lot that you'll have to do as well, but especially if you have a good training program, if you have a good coaching and mentorship program at the brokerage it is that you're at, you should be in really great shape for that. Now, one of the... for number 3, it's going to be a two-parter. A two-parter. And it really boils down to one thing, but these are the things it is that you've got to do. You've got to say yes. You want to say yes to as much as you possibly can, especially if you're more inclined to say no to things. But you also need to realize there is definitely still a time and place to say no. You're like, well, John, how is this a tip? To say yes and no. Well, look, it's really about this, about making a decision. About making a decision. Say yes or say no. Be okay with saying no sometimes. And challenge yourself to put yourself out of the comfort zone and say yes sometimes. So that's why this is really a two-parter. Because both of these words are important. There's going to be things you need to say yes to. Every telemarketer that calls you, no, you'll run out of money very quickly. So be confident saying, no, I'm not interested, hang up, bye. That's it. That's a time and place where saying no is going to be more important. But maybe you have a client that comes to you with maybe a situation that you're not quite sure if you're ready for it or if you can handle it or whatever the case may be. That's where you want to challenge yourself to put yourself out of the comfort zone and say yes. So ultimately, two different things: making a decision, putting yourself out of your comfort zone, really three things. So out of your comfort zone. Make a decision, getting yourself out of your comfort zone, and staying focused. That's what saying no will help you do. But in order to stay focused, you got to have something to stay focused on. You got to have something in mind already that you're trying to stay focused on and make actually happen. That's where the times that you're going to say no. You know, a great example, maybe you're just getting started out in real estate, a great example of when you might want to say no to things is there's all kinds of related ways to real estate to make money on the side. So a lot of real estate professionals have multiple businesses. They're entrepreneurial people with multiple businesses. But if you spread yourself too thin and you don't keep yourself focused on the prize, if you don't keep your eye on the prize, as they like to say, that could lead to disaster. And again, that's what's going to be important to say no. Getting out of your comfort zone is important to say yes, and making a decision, that's if you do either of these things. Don't get stuck in indecision. Get yourself out of your comfort zone when it makes sense, and say no when it involves staying focused. That's like 3 tips in one, and that's the secret for number 3 here. See how I did that? That wasn't planned, by the way. So let's jump down to number 2 on the list. Number 2 on the list of the top 10 tips for new real estate agents. So So we talked about saying yes and no. We talked about thinking long term. We talked about building a pipeline. We talked about generating referrals, training, coaching and mentorship, lead generation, being on the phone. Number 2 is building a brand. Now, what do I mean by building a real estate brand? So when you get started in real estate, you do have to join a brokerage or a developer. However, if you're joining a developer, that's more like a job than it is building a business. So you really wouldn't be building a brand as much at a developer, at a home builder. However, when you're at a brokerage, you're positioned as a business, and this is going to help you with lead generation as well. And this is something that you want to think of from the beginning, is building your brand. And so you do have to join a brokerage. But the brokerage is not your brand. So that's an important thing to remember. The brokerage is not your brand. Your brand, and it's not about the colors. As I write this in red. So this isn't just about the colors or the logo. It's not just about the colors or the logo. It's about the experience. About the experience. That's what really defines the brand. The brand is all about the experience that you're providing to your clients. And it starts from the very first moment, way before they're a client. We go way back into our pipeline here. We talked about number 7, building a pipeline. Before they become a client, they're just a contact. They're just somebody that you know, some way you have to get in touch with them, whether that's phone, email, social media, they're on your website, whatever the case may be. There's somehow you're in contact with them. You want to try to convert them into a lead. If you have a strong brand, that's going to help move you along with this here. So jumping back to the branding aspect of this, it's about the experience it is that you provide. And there's all kinds of things it is that you could do to enhance this experience. Things such as content. That's one of the best ways to build your brand, is with content, whether that be blog posts, videos, even photos that you're posting on social media or stories or anything like that. Any sort of content is going to help enhance an experience. This is going to help you generate leads. This is going to help attract more people to you. Another part of this is the processes. And as mundane as a process sounds, as boring as process sounds, what is it about your process that makes you unique and different and better? That's really more what your brand is. And then also finally with this, in addition to the content, the process, you also have the aspect of this of what is going to make this memorable. And that's going to be your logo, colors, photo, your headshot, all that type of stuff. That's what represents your brand to help make it memorable. But that's not really, again, what the brand is in and of itself. The brand, most importantly in and of itself, again, is more about the experience it is that you're providing. So look, we've got one more. The number 1 tip for new agents that are going to help you jumpstart your real estate career and build a successful real estate career. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're counting down to that number 1 tip for you. So stick with us. I'm John Christmer. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We've been talking about the top 10 tips for new agents. So let's get right to number 1. I know you've been waiting for it. And the number 1 tip I have for you as a new agent is just one word: momentum. Momentum. This is the number 1 most important thing that you want to keep in mind when you're starting out in real estate, or really starting any business or starting any venture, is you want to keep the momentum. You want to keep in motion. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep you moving forward. Super important that you always keep yourself moving forward, that you're always doing something that's pushing that needle a little bit further, because the moment you stop, the moment that you're not doing one of those things, that's ultimately what's going to slow you down to the point where your real estate business could flatline. You don't want your business to flatline. It's the last thing that you want. And the best thing that you can do to keep this moving, to keep this pushing forward, is the momentum. And this starts out going all the way back to just even when you're getting started. That's, we believe a lot in momentum here, and that's why our Pass First Try exam prep study tools are so popular, because they're designed to help take time out of the equation. So you could study on your own, you could study what's in the course material. We provide a lot of great information in there, but the way it's presented and refined in our study tools are really optimized to take time out of the equation and make this as quick and easy, as turnkey as possible. So you're not having to, sit there and make practice questions on your own, or figure out what to put on a flashcard, or what's actually important in this entire textbook of where only certain information is important for the exam purposes at least. So that's one example of momentum. Another example is taking your post-licensing as soon as you get your real estate license. That's going to help you get the momentum that you need to move into the next step. Don't procrastinate on things. Momentum is what helps you avoid procrastination. So if you're a person who tends to be plagued by procrastination, well, I like that, plagued by procrastination. I feel plagued by procrastination sometimes, and I know the thing that keeps me on track, that keeps me moving forward, is momentum. This is that snowball effect I was telling you about, and this could be for better or for worse. This is when you're maybe working with a client, and this client is, there's problems and you're not addressing those problems. That's going to create momentum to make those problems bigger. So that's why you want to maintain momentum of being in control of the transaction. You being on top of things, that's you maintaining your momentum. Generating referrals from your past clients, that's you maintaining momentum, building momentum even, really, I should say. But that's one of the most important things to keep this moving forward. What can you do right now, right this moment, that's going to help move that needle, that's going to help get you closer to those big long-term 1-year and 5-year goals? And that's our top 10 tips for real estate agents. So recapping these one more time here to go all the way from the top. Number 1 we had on the list was about training, about making sure that you're diving deep, off the deep end, to try to figure out as much information as you possibly can. And again, the best thing I'd recommend that we provide at least is your post-licensing course. That's something that's required by your renewal deadline, but if you take it right away, it's going to give you a lot of information that's going to help you jumpstart your real estate career. The coaching and mentorship, super important because it's going to help you apply what it is that you're learning in all of the trainings. Thinking long term, thinking that bigger picture, those 1 year and 5 year goals, so you don't get caught up in the little itty bitty details of today. Building a pipeline, and this is going to help you think long term because it's going to help you realize how many more people it is that you want to try to get influence with, because that's going to help build this pipeline so you get a lot more past clients. And a lot more past clients are not only just representations of a job well done, but you also getting paid and now potential repeat business as well as more referrals. But in addition to that, lead generation. Super important that you want to think about lead generation all the time, because that's one of the things that's going to maintain the momentum of your business is getting new people to help, to serve, to help them buy, to help them sell. There's millions of people out there in Florida that need our services. There's 22 million people, I think, last time they counted in Florida, and they all need a place to live. And they're constantly moving around, moving in, moving out, moving down the street, moving on this county, moving over here, moving to that coast. We can help them out every single time and make money off of every single transaction. But not if you're not on the phone. You can't, I see it's crazy. If you guys watch any of those things about celebrities, like these like old school celebrities that didn't come up around like phones and always having a cell phone with them and whatnot. I think Elton John's like one of them that just doesn't have a phone, a cell phone, and he just doesn't need to be in contact with the world. I mean, he's made it. He's got all these castles all over the place, so I'm sure he's doing all right. But if you don't have castles all over the world, you probably need a phone. And that phone isn't just for sitting in your pocket, it's for being on. And that doesn't have to be talking. Talking, again, is probably one of the highest level activities, but sometimes a text message is going to be a better, more effective method. You could also be on social. You could be making videos with your phones. There's so many things that these things do that, this is like your $1 million secret right here. So definitely don't take advantage of that. Generating referrals. This is where you tap into your sphere of influence of everyone it is that you've known, if you've been doing real estate, people that you've done business with, and finding out who do they know that might need your services. Because these people with a personal recommendation and referral are going to be a lot better quality lead, a lot more of an opportunity than, say, somebody who you've never met before, who doesn't even know who you are, doesn't know whether they should trust you. There's already a implied level of trust here that you still want to continue to build upon that, but this is going to be a little bit more of a low-hanging fruit, to use one of those sales terms, meaning it's a easier sale. Saying yes, but also saying no. Doing either, again, to make a decision. Yes, to put you out of your comfort zone and take advantage of opportunities that you might want to say no to, and then saying no when things don't align, when things don't make sense, to stay focused on what those big long-term, big picture goals are that you're trying to achieve. Building a brand. But again, the part about building a brand, it's not just about the colors and logos and everything. It's all about the experience that you're providing. And you could do that virtually and automated through content, whether that's videos, articles, photos, again, anything like that. But you also do it through the processes that, whether that's the process for introducing yourself to clients, whether that involves emails, text messages, some sort of presentation folder. I know a lot of agents like to send out little booklets or magazines or anything like that. And yes, the color scheme and logos, that's important as well, but that's not really your branding. That's just what's there to make your branding memorable. So your brand, again, very much about the experience. And number one tip, again, is momentum. Keep it in motion. Keep it moving forward. Keep watching Ask the Instructor and State of Real Estate every Wednesday and Friday at 12:30 Eastern Time. We're here every single week to help you understand the technical side of the real estate industry and grow your real estate business into that next level dream that you're trying to accomplish. That's what we're here to do. Not just to get you through a course, not just to get you to pass an exam, not just to get a license, but to change the future of your life. Whether you've got big goals or maybe just some more modest goals with your real estate license, there's so much you could achieve. There's so many opportunities that exist out there. And if you have questions about getting started, if you have questions about what is required, if you have questions on how do I, get started with a broker, we've got tons of brokers that we work closely with that specifically specialize in new agent mentorship and coaching and training. So we've got the connections, we've got the tools, we've got the technology, we've got the courses. Give us a call and we can help you navigate these what can sometimes be complex waters if you don't have a guide to help you through that. Let us be your guide now to help get you started and on the right track to building a successful future. Our phone number is 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. We have advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Again, if you did like today's show, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for us, because that tells us to do more videos like this, to put out more content about, starting a real estate career, about the momentum, about these things that are necessary to, really build a successful foundation in real estate. So if you like that, hit the like button for today. Go check out some of our other videos. Again, call us if you have any questions, or you can check us out on our website, tampaschool.com. That's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.